Hi, this is Jarek Kotkowski from lovestepbystep.com. We are a community for men who want to have our future, who want to find our future. And what does it mean? What future means in terms of content? What future is? Well, future basically is love. Um, we are trying to evolve as a human civilization into love. And if we are a community for men and we want to evolve, obviously we are going to be evolving into love. This is what we have to, but not only have to, this is what we want to. If you ask yourself what do you want, you say I want love. So basically when we say evolving into love, like what topics? Oh, for instance, topics like relationships, happiness, families, spirituality. So we are talking about evolving into love, and let's ask ourselves a question: what is the advantage of evolving into love? The most basic, obvious advantage is that you are going to be able to relate better with yourself, with women, with other people, basically with entire world. So, what is the entire world? What's that? When you think about it on a deeper level, let's say, you are going to notice that world is actually the material world and non-material world as well. And we need those both worlds and awareness about them, because this is how we can put things together, like create things. Like for instance, relationship. If you are a man, we can talk about different relationships, but right now we will be talking about a relationship with a woman. So you want to create a relationship with a woman, and you have to put those both worlds together. Like for example, the elements from material world. This is obvious. We are not going to be talking about this in this video. Uh, if you want to talk about examples from the non-material world, we can point the spiritual connection. Uh, would this be possible to create a relationship with a woman without the spiritual connection, or for a woman to create a relationship with a man without the spiritual connection, without creating it from her side? No, this would not be possible. Let me tell you just right up front. This is impossible. And when creating a relationship is not possible, although it might be possible to create a marriage, to create family, but imagine how bad situation. Two people have created a marriage or a family, but they didn't create a relationship because they don't have that spiritual connection with each other, with other members, because then it like goes to other people as well. Basically, it spreads all around your world. That's why we were talking about combining two worlds together. So, okay, again, you created, let's say, a family, but you forgot about creating relationships, and that is a problem. Okay? I don't have to explain that, convince you that this is a problem, this is a problem. And when a human being has a problem, then first thing, a person doesn't want to have a problem. So how not to have a problem is to solve a problem. That's the only way. If problems are not going to go away, solve themselves, you have to do it. So how to solve a problem? Well, first step, you need to change your perspective. Without changing perspective, problems won't be solved. And what is the best perspective to solving problems? This is the spiritual perspective. When you look at things from spiritual perspective, then it would be hard to find a problem and won't be able to come up with solution. Okay, especially when we are talking right now about relationships, looking from spiritual perspective, this is very easy to find any solution. Okay, so I think I made my point about changing the perspective, and right now we are in the perspective of the spiritual perspective. So once we are in that perspective, what do we see? First thing that we see that we humans are not only flesh. We are actually spirits connected with bodies. So if we are spirits and we are not using the spiritual communication with each other, then would that be able for us to communicate like in a relationship or not? Well, not. It won't be possible. So no wonder, and this is basically the problem I see, that in relationship the most basic problem is that people are not using the spiritual communication. And that is creating a problem for our future. And like I said in the beginning of this video, we men want to have the future. So again, what is the future looking from the perspective of a timeline? Right now we are not talking about content. Right now we are just talking about the timeline. Okay, the timeline is basically the past, is today, and the future. So the future is that part which is going to be happen next from now. Well, before we have the past, there is nothing we can do about because it's already done. Then we have today. This is where today is, we are living in today. But there is also future, and when you think about future and that you want to have a future, you are actually thinking that you want to have a lot of great todays. Every day, most of the time, it will be a great day. So how we are going to decide, how we are going to achieve that as a group of men? Well, for starters, I can give you like 3 basic ideas that we are going to be doing in this community as a community for men. We are going to be evolving as a community. We are going to be learning about cool things like creating spiritual connection, and we are going to be learning about creating love. And if you ask yourself, why would that be important, like at least those 2-3 things? Well, there is an entire world of possibilities in the future because of doing something that way. If you are going to start right and if we are going to continue right, then the future can offer us even more than that. But let's not get carried away and talk about very far into the future. Let's talk about something that we can start today and within our reach. So if we are going as a group to use even those 3 elements that I just listed, the first thing that is going to happen is that you are going to relate better to women. And why you are going to relate better to women? Well, because this way you are going to drop some behaviors that are silly and well, basically a relationship with women is a series of behaviors. And you want, so when we look at behaviors and actions, we can divide them into groups. Like one group would be, one type of behavior would belong to a group which is basically something silly, something non-spiritual, having no future, having no spiritual connection. And another action could be put into the second category. And as a matter of fact, there are only two categories, so that's easy to absorb, remember, understand. The other category is doing something wise, doing something that is spiritual, that is connecting, that is creating good communication, that is creating the spiritual connection. Okay, so in the next video, I'm going to do an example of a same situation, and that can be acted in the right, in the silly way, or in the wise way. And I can tell you right up front that this is going to be about sending to a woman a naked selfie, and this would be example of a silly behavior. So I welcome you to this group. As we are talking about the spiritual connection, please also notice that you are already feeling better, because when you are thinking, when you are starting to connect with yourself better on the spiritual level, and when you connect in a spiritual way to other people, you already feel better. So I welcome you to this community, and we are going to be sharing, I'm going to be preparing more of materials like podcasts, videos, which you can find on my site, which is lovestepbystep.com. Please also notice that I am not a Native American speaker, and this is why I'm creating podcasts of these videos I'm making live, and then I'm going to write it in a better way, because it's easier to write than to speak in front of camera, especially if you are not a native speaker. But this is just a small detail, and we are not in this world to give in when we have obstacle. Okay, we have to overcome obstacles. So this is like, for now, my way of overcoming the obstacle, which is maybe difficult for you to understand me. So I'm going to be making podcasts and some videos that are going to use a technology, and I will be this way. I will be able to speak in a fluent English. Okay, let's just put it that way. So make sure to get involved. Because we are actually, with this community, want to be moving somewhere. Okay, so that's it for today, and see you in the next video. Make sure you are there.